So people are calling this the next Nisekoi. I've been seeing the phrase died 2016, born 2024, which is a reference to when Nisekoi ended, which was 2016. This brand new manga is called Hime-Ten, or at least I think that's how it's pronounced. The manga has caught my attention for a couple of reasons, but the main one being, why are people calling this the next Nisekoi? Like, new Harem Romcoms come out like every other day. They're kind of a dime a dozen. Just to name off a few examples, the Rent-A-Girlfriend author actually has another ongoing manga, meaning that it's running at the same time as Rent-A-Girlfriend, called The Something Family Children. It's about a guy and his siblings finding out that none of them are blood related, that they're all, adopted, and seeing how that kind of changes the family dynamic. Well, before even the reveal that they're not blood related, one of his sisters were like, "Yo, I'm in love with you." And now that it's been revealed, she's pushing even harder. And then another one of his sisters was like, "I'm just testing you." I didn't expect any less from the creator of Rent-A-Girlfriend. To name off another one, the creator behind Domestic Girlfriend has a new manga called May I Live With You. It's the classic setup of a guy who's down on his luck, moving into a boarding house filled with attractive women, and then of course, shenanigans ensue. Just to name off one more, the creator behind Blue Lock actually has a harem manga called Super Ball Girl. This one's actually kind of hard to explain. Like, this guy ends up finding this ball, and then like 4 to 5 girls that just kind of pop out of said ball, and they all have like the mental capacity of like a toddler, but then as time goes on, they quickly start to gain intelligence, and they have like supernatural abilities. Like, some of them are like super strong. They're able to like regenerate if they're hurt really bad. Like, it's weird, but it's unique. So to get back to my main point, there's been a ton of harem rom-coms to come out since Nisekoi, so why is this one being touted as the next Nisekoi? Also, the other reason why I'm interested in this series is because, for those that don't know, I recently rewatched the anime, finished the manga, and made like a 30-minute video talking about what happens after the anime and giving my thoughts on the series overall. So if you want to see my full thoughts on Nisekoi, please go give that video some love. But to give my overall thoughts, Nisekoi was decent. It just felt like a lot of it was, filler, just kind of spinning its wheels to make sure it didn't really move the plot forward. But once you hit the arranged marriage arc, it's pretty consistently decent from that point to the end of the manga. I just didn't like the characters enough to enjoy the chapters that didn't really move the plot forward. So again, with Nisekoi ending like 7 to 8 years ago and so many other harem rom-coms coming out since then, why is this particular manga being touted as the next Nisekoi? Well, Nisekoi ran in a magazine called Weekly Shonen Jump. It's the same magazine that has One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, so on and so forth. Nisekoi ended back in 2016, and there hasn't really been another harem rom-com series in Weekly Shonen Jump since then. So it's been 7 to 8 years since it had a harem rom-com. That's a long time. The manga has had other romances. Like, right now, I think they have a manga called Blue Box, but that's not really a harem romance. That's more of a sports romance. Well, Weekly Shonen Jump did have Ashigashi Triangle, or however you pronounce it, but it started getting a bit too spicy for Weekly Shonen Jump. So instead of, keeping it in Weekly Shonen Jump or trying to, censor the author or make them, tone it down, they just went ahead and moved the manga to a different magazine. Yeah, Jump has multiple magazines. They have Weekly Shonen Jump, V Jump, Shonen Jump Plus, and the list goes on. And that's where the harems have been, in other magazines, not in the main magazine, Weekly Shonen Jump. So that's why this is getting called the next Nisekoi, because it's been 7 to 8 years since a harem rom-com has been in the main magazine, Weekly Shonen Jump, which is where this manga is running. So with that all said, what is Hime-Ten even about? How does it compare to Nisekoi? How similar are they? Well, let's go ahead and check out the manga. We're introduced to Tenichi, and he seems to have a good head on his shoulders. His dream is to basically just live a good life. He has a job where he cleans houses. Right now, he has 2 assigned to him, but he just got a 3rd one. At home, he also does the cooking and cleaning because his mom works and his dad is like on a business trip. I got a question, and I know I'm not the first person to ever bring this up, but why is it a lot of the time the dad is kind of out of the picture? When it comes to manga and anime, either both parents are gone or at least the dad is gone. It goes back to Pokemon and even further than that. Is that kind of a reflection of the Japanese culture that the dad is always at work and not really spending time with family? Or am I looking too far into it? But anyway, he has a good home life, a decent school life. It's a busy life, but it's trouble-free. We end up finding that he's the class rep and he has a subclass rep named Kanai that he's known since middle school. I guess she's going to be the Onodera of the series. Their class ends up getting a transfer student named Himari Yoshino. Turns out she's famous. She's a model and owns her own makeup brand. I like how the manga decides not to go with the plot point of her trying to hide the fact that she's famous. You know, some manga will do the plot point of, oh, I want to live a normal high school life, so I'm going to disguise myself and try to do my best not to let people know that I'm famous. But here it's just all out in the open that she's famous, and I like that. Since our main character is the class rep, he's assigned to look after her and, you know, show her around. She's a bit cheeky, but overall a good person. She seems very put together and proper. She's proud of the business that she's built. She likes it when people say, oh, you look cute, oh, I love your makeup, because it makes her feel, you know, validated. It makes her feel like she's doing a good job, that her hard work is being recognized. But she's not arrogant. She's not like looking down on people or anything like that. So after talking a bit, Tanichi decides to ask, hey, do you ever want to say no to your fans? Because earlier she was kind of swarmed by fans. She says she'll say no if she really doesn't want to be bothered, but at the same time, she doesn't want to hurt her brand. Like, she doesn't want people to think that she's stuck up or, oh, I'm too good to talk to you or anything like that. But like I said earlier, she likes the attention. Yoshino decides to ask him the same thing. Do you ever say no? Why do you always say yes? For example, he didn't particularly want to be class rep. The teacher just kind of threw it on him and he just accepted it. He explains that he likes feeling relied on, that people can depend on him. At some point, things start to feel natural, like it's really easy for him to talk to her. But he feels like once she's used to school life, she's not going to really talk to him anymore. After school, he ends up going to his new client's house to clean it. And it's a pigsty, clothes thrown everywhere, dishes piled up, it's a mess. To no one's surprise, it ends up being Yoshino's house. So outside of the house, she's prim and proper, but at home, she's a slob. It kind of reminds me of that one Hamster Girl anime. I've never watched it, but I've seen enough clips of it. What else is this reminding me of? Wait a second. A guy who likes to clean, a girl who's messy?
No, God! No, God, please, no!
If you know, you know. So she feels her life is over, that maybe he's going to blackmail her or just go ahead and tell everybody at school. And that's where the chapter ends. We only have one so far as of the recording of this video. So when comparing this series to Nisekoi just based off the first chapter, it's not really similar to Nisekoi like at all. Yes, Yoshino is a transfer student like Chitoge, but that's a trope in a lot of manga. When it comes to which manga had the better first chapter, hands down, Nisekoi. Like, so much happens in the first chapter of Nisekoi that I had to take notes. There's the introduction of the promise and the pendant. We learn that Raku's family is Yakuza, but he doesn't want any part of it. He just wants to live a normal life. We get the infamous knee to the face, and we find out the girl who kneed him in the face is the new transfer student, Chitoge. They instantly hate each other. Since she kneed him in the face, he lost his pendant, so he forces her to help him find it. We learn that Onodera likes him and has a key that could possibly open the pendant. We learn that Chitoge is part of a gangster family and that they have to pretend to date each other so that way their families aren't killing each other out in the street. So again, a lot happens in that first chapter to really get you hooked on the series. In Hime-Ten's case, not so much. This series seems a bit more grounded. You know, the characters aren't as bombastic as Nisekoi, and that's completely fine. Overall, I liked it. You know, we have a dependable main character, you know, a likable female character. I like how they're not at each other's throats like they are in Nisekoi. It seems like we might have some good chemistry going on. So again, overall, I liked it, but it didn't blow me out the water. I'm not like dying to read the next chapter. So how do other people feel about this manga so far? Some people are just happy that it's not another Exorcist series. For those that don't know, Shonen Jump has been pumping out Exorcist series one after another. So it's nice to get a break. Other people are like me where they're like, it's nothing new, but it's not bad either. Some people are already placing bets that the short-haired girl isn't going to win, and that's probably true. I mean, 90 to 99% of the time, the short-haired girl does not win. Only one harem manga comes to mind where the short-haired girl wins. No spoilers. Some people have picked up on the fact that the teacher is pretty dang attractive, like to the point to where they think that she might be part of the harem later on. So is this series going to be the next Nisekoi? I don't really think so, but only time will tell. I think it's going to be more of its own thing rather than the next Nisekoi. So do you plan on reading this series? Have you already read it? Leave your comments down below. I think I'm going to continue reading this series, and I'll probably do like a follow-up video once there's like a volume worth of chapters out. So again, I'm not dying to read the next chapter, but with this being the first like harem rom-com in Weekly Shonen Jump in like 7 to 8 years, it does pique my interest. But with with that said, if you guys like this video, like the video, and if you like me, subscribe to me. And as always, this has been Broken, and I'll catch y'all next time.